Hello everyone, we are back with chapter 11, lesson 1, solving two-step equations, and we're going to do the guided practice. So this is going to give you guys a chance to work on a bunch of problems on your own, and then check back and see all the problems worked out to ensure that you did them correctly. So how about we just start with problems 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead, work those out, press pause. Oh, here's our friend, the pause dragon, reminding us to pause. Make sure that when you work them out, you also do the check and write the original problem. And so each problem needs the problem and a check worked out for 1, 2, and 3. All right, go ahead and pause. Finish those 3. When you get done, press play, and we'll check the problems. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and start with problem number 1. We're solving for x. We're trying to get x by itself. We have 5x plus 8 equals 23. We have to save this 5x for the end. So that means that we are going to get rid of this positive 8. So the inverse operation would be subtracting both sides of the equation. Remember, the equal sign splits an equation into 2 parts. So we're going to subtract 8 to both sides. Positive 8 and minus 8, those cancel out and become 0. We're left with 5x equals 23 minus 8. The 3 is not big enough, so I need to borrow a 10 from this 2, making that 1. 13 minus 8 is 5. We drop down that 1, so we have 5x equals 15. We're trying to get x by itself, and now it's time to get rid of the 5. Well, how is the 5 related to x? It's related through multiplication. 5x means 5 times x, so we have to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. So we're dividing 5 to both sides. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times x is x, and now we have x by itself. Woohoo! Then 15 divided by 5 is 3. So our answer is x equals 3, but now we need to check it. So I'm going to write the word check. That kind of breaks the problem up, and it communicates that now this is where I solved the problem. Now I'm doing the check. And remember, every check, we write the original problem. 5x plus 8 equals 23. And now it is time to substitute 3 in for x. 5 times 3 plus 8 equals 23. All right, great. So we have on this side, we have multiplication and addition, so we have to follow the order of operations. We do multiplication. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 8 equals 23. And then 15 plus 8, 5 plus 8 is 13. Write the 3, carry the 1. 1 plus 1, is 2. So that's 23 equals 23. So this is a true statement, which means that this solution is correct. This is the solution to the original problem right there. Okay, on to problem number 2. We have negative 2p minus 4 equals 2. So now we're trying to solve p and get p by itself. Well, it's not by itself. There's all types of stuff over here. But we have to remember that we need to keep this negative 2p together until everything else is gone. So we need to get rid of this negative 4. The inverse operation of negative 4 would be adding 4 to both sides. And remember, our goal is to make this equal to 0. So negative 4 plus 4 is equal to 0. So it cancels it out. And now p is 1 step closer to being by itself. 2 plus 4 is 6. It's not by itself yet. It's close. But it's negative 2 times p. So even though this is a negative, you do think about it as the number negative 2. Don't think about it like subtracted 2 times p. Think of this as negative 2. So it's negative 2p, which means negative 2 times p, which means we have to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which would be division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times p is p. Now we have p by itself. Woohoo! And then we have over here on this side, we have a positive divided by a negative. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we have p equals negative 3. That's our answer. And now we're going to check. Okay, so we're going to write the original equation. Negative 2p minus 4 equals 2. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and substitute this negative 3 in for p. So negative 2 times negative 3 minus 4 equals 2. A negative times a negative would, order of operations, right? So we have multiplication and subtraction here. And whenever we put in a negative number for the variable, remember you have to do it in parentheses, so it's obvious that this is multiplication and it's not negative 2 minus 3. That's not what this is. This is negative 2 times negative 3. That's what it meant here, negative 2p, negative 2 times p, and we substituted negative 3 in for p, so it's negative 2 times negative 3. So order of operations says we have to do that multiplication first before we do the subtraction here. A negative times a negative is a positive, okay, and then 2 times 3 is 6. 6 take away 4 equals 2, and 6 take away 4 is 2. So that is a true statement, which means our solution here is the correct solution to our original problem. Okay, on to problem 3. I hope you got that one right. If you did, great job. Okay, on to problem number 3. We have 6a, so we're trying to figure out what a is. 6a minus 11 equals 13. And remember, we are saving this bit until the very end. So that means we have to get rid of this negative 11 or minus 11. The inverse operation of subtraction would be addition, so we're going to add 11 to both sides of the equation. We end up with 6a equals 3 plus 1 is 4, 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have 6a equals 24. We're closer to getting a by itself, but we have not done it yet, so we have to keep going. So we have 6 times a, the inverse operation of multiplication would be division. So we're dividing both sides of the equation by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times a is a. And we have 24 divided by 6, which is 4. So a equals 4. And then we're going to check it. Okay, so I'm writing the word check. I'm going to write my original equation. 6a minus 11 equals 13, and we're going to substitute 4 in for a. So 6 times 4 minus 11 equals 13. Order of operations, we have multiplication and subtraction. 6 times 4 would be 24 minus 11. And I'm just going to take this off to the side, 24 minus 11. So 4 minus 1 is 3, 2 minus 1 is 1. So 13. 24 minus 11 equals 13 equals 13. So that's true, which means our answer right here is correct. This is the solution to the original equation. Okay, so if you got that right, great job. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and work on problems 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you can do one, press pause, do one, and then press play and see how I work that out, or you can do 3, or you know, just kind of do what works best for you. If you're having problems, I wouldn't suggest doing all 6 of them and then checking, because if you're doing the wrong thing one time, you might be doing the wrong thing 6 times, and then you have to erase everything and work it all over. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tell you guys to pause, and I just want you to kind of gauge yourself as far as where you're at and what works best for you. But we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those problems right now. So go ahead and press pause. Make sure that when you're doing them, you're working the problem out and doing the check. Write the original problem equation on the check each time. Okay, go ahead and say, press pause, and we'll see you in a little bit. See you in a little bit. All right, we are back. Let's go ahead and get started on this first one. We have 4n plus 12 equals 4. So I'm trying to get n by itself. Okay, remember I'm leaving this 4n bit until the end. So I have to get rid of this positive 12. So I'm going to do the inverse operation of positive 12, which would be negative 12. I'm going to subtract 12 to both sides. Positive 12, negative 12 cancels out, becomes 0. I have 4n equals 4 minus 12. Now 4 is a positive, and 12 is a negative. So here the signs are different. So when the signs are different, you take the difference. So 12 take away 4 is 8. And then you look at 4 and 12. Which number is bigger? 12 is bigger and 12 is negative. That means our answer is going to be negative. All right. Now I just need to isolate this n. N is almost by itself, but not quite. So we have 4n, so we have to do the inverse operation of 4 times n, which would be division. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times n is n. So now n is by itself. We have a negative divided by a positive. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So our answer is n equals negative 2. Now we're going to check it. So write the word check. Write your original equation. 4n plus 12 equals 4. We're going to sub in negative 2 in for n. Now, whenever you sub in a negative number, you need to put it in parentheses. So if you didn't put in parentheses, go back and put it in parentheses. Okay, so we have multiplication and addition. Order of operations says we have to do this multiplication first. So we have a positive multiplied by a negative. A positive times a negative is going to be a negative. 4 times 2 is 8, so that equals negative 8. Plus 12 equals 4. And then we have a negative 12 plus 12. So this is a negative number. This is a positive number. The signs are different, so we take the difference. The difference between 12 and 8 is going to be 4. And then we look at the numbers, and 12 is bigger than 8, and 12 is positive, so this is going to be a positive 4 equals 4. So this is a true statement, which means that this solution right here is correct, and this is the solution to the original problem. Perfect. On to number 5. I hope you got that one right. Okay, we are doing 9g plus 2 equals 20. So remember, we're going to save this until the very end, that 9g. So we're going to get rid of this positive 2. So the inverse of positive 2 would be negative 2. 2 both sides of the equation. Positive 2 and negative 2, that's 0. We have 9g here. And 20 minus 2 would be 18. Okay, we still have to isolate and get g by itself. 9g means 9 multiplied by g, so the inverse operation of multiplication would be division of 9 to both sides. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. 1 times g is g. And 18 divided by 9 is 2. So our answer is g equals 2. All right, cool. So let's check it. We're going to write the word check. We're going to write our original equation. 9g plus 2 equals 20. We're substituting 2 in for g. So 9 times 2 plus 2 equals 20. And we're doing an order of operations. So we have multiplication, we have addition. So 9 times 2 is 18 plus 2. 18 plus 2 is 20 equals 20. And that is a true statement, which means that this answer is correct. And this is the solution to the original equation. Perfect. On to problem number 6. So we have k over 6, or k divided by 6, plus 8 equals 5. So we're trying to get k by itself. Now for this one, we are going to keep k divided by 6 till the very end together, which means we have to get rid of this positive 8. So we're going to, the inverse of positive 8 or plus 8 would be subtracted by 8 or minus 8, so, or negative 8. We're going to do that to both sides of the equation. Positive 8, negative 8 is 0. Those cancel each other out. So that means we have k over 6 equals 5 minus 8. 5 is positive, 8 is negative. That means the signs are different, so we take the difference. The difference between 8 and 5 is 3. We look at the numbers 5 and 8. Which number is bigger? 8 is bigger, 8 is negative. That means our answer is negative. Perfect. So we're still trying to figure out what k is. It's not by itself yet. It's close, but not quite yet. So we have k divided by 6. So we need to do the inverse operation of division, which would be multiplication. We're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 6. This is 6 over 1. Remember, whenever you're multiplying fractions, you always look to cross-cancel first. So we're going to cross-cancel these 6's out because they both have a common factor of 6. 6 goes into 6 one time, 6 goes into 6 one time, and then 1 times k is just k, and woohoo, now we have k by itself. Okay, right here we have a negative times a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative, and then 3 times 6 is 18. So our answer is k equals negative 18. Now it's time to check it. Okay, so I'm going to write the word check. You write the word check. I'm going to write the original equation. K over 6 plus 8 equals 5. K over 6 plus 8. Check it. Always check it. Okay, wrote it right. Now I'm going to substitute negative 18 in for k. So I'm just putting negative 18 over 6 plus 8 equals 5. Now, I didn't put this in parentheses because right now k is not being multiplied by anything. It's being divided by 6, but since it's not being multiplied, I can just write negative 18 and it's okay. No one is going to misunderstand that I'm trying to do something weird with that. So this just, it's k divided by 6. This is negative 18 divided by 6. It's transmitting the same message here. Okay, so we have division, we have addition on this side of the equation. So I have to do the order of operations. I have to do division first. So whenever I'm dividing, and I'm dividing negative times a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. Whenever I'm doing problems like this, I like to just figure out the signs first and then do the numbers. So you'll see me do this. I'll be like, okay, a negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative, and then I'll write that, and then I'll do the numbers. 18 divided by 6 is 3, just to make sure that I kind of think about it like separately. So like the signs, I'll do that like step 1, and then I'll do the numbers like step 2. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus 8 equals 5. Cool. So we just have to simplify this little bit here. We have negative 3 plus 8. So this is a negative, this is a positive. The signs are different, so we need to take the difference. And the difference between 8 and 3 is 5. And then I look at the numbers, 3 and 8, which one's bigger? And 8's bigger, and 8's positive means this is a positive 5. And I don't need to write a plus sign because whenever you just write the number 5, it's understood that it's positive. So 5 equals 5. This is a true statement, woohoo, which means our solution here is correct. This is the solution to the original equation. Okay, on to number 7. Okay, let's do it. I'm ready. I think I need a new pen color. We're going with this one. Okay, so we have s over 3, or s divided by 3 minus 4 equals 2. We're trying to figure out what s is. We need to get it by itself. So what that means is I'm going to kind of keep these two together until the final end. Okay, so we have to get rid of this negative 4 minus 4. So the inverse operation of that would be a positive 4 to both sides of the equation. Negative 4 plus 4, those cancel out and become 0. I have s divided by 3 equals 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, still trying to figure out what s equals. S is not by itself because it's being divided by 3 right now, so I need to do the inverse operation of division, which would be multiplication of 3 to both sides. Okay, those are going to cancel out and be 1. 1 times s is just s. 6 times 3 is 18. So boom. Let's check it, make sure it's correct. So I'm going to write the original equation, s divided by 3 minus 4 equals 2. I'm substituting 18 in for s, so it's going to be 18 divided by 3 minus 4 equals 2. And I want you to do these one step at a time. Don't rush this, okay? So we have division, we have subtraction. Order of operations states that we have to do division first. So we have 18 divided by 3, which is 6. 6 minus 4 equals 2, and 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 equals 2. So that's true, which means that s equals 18 is the solution to the original equation. Woohoo! Okay, on to problem number 8. Problem number 8, we have c divided by 2, or c over 2 plus 5 equals 1. So we are trying to isolate c and get c by itself. Okay, okie dokie. So the first thing we have to do, oh, wait. Hold up. Okay, we have to wait on this. This is what we're gonna do at the very end. Okay, so we have to get rid of this positive 5 or plus 5. So the inverse operation of plus 5 would be minus 5, or subtracted by 5, or negative 5, however you want to think about it. They all mean the same. Plus 5, negative 5, that cancels out and becomes 0, which is our goal because we want it to be 0 because we're trying to get c by itself. And then we have 1 take away 5. Okay, 1 is positive, 5 is negative, so the signs are different. When the signs are different, you take the difference, and that's what we're going to take. The difference between 5 and 1 is 4. And then we look at 1 and 5, which number's bigger? 5 is bigger and 5 is negative, so that means our answer is going to be negative. Cool. Okay, we're still trying to determine what c is. So, we got to get it by itself. So it's c divided by 2. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 over 1, those cancel out and become 1. 1 times c is just c. We have negative 4 times 8. I'm going to do the signs first. So a negative times a positive is a negative. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So that's the answer. And always put your answer in a box so it's easily identifiable. But now on to the check. So I'm going to write the word check. I'm going to write the original equation. C over 2 plus 5 equals 1. Perfect. Then I'm going to substitute negative 8 in for C. So negative 8 divided by 2 plus 5 equals 1. Okay. So on this side of the equation, I have some simplification I need to do. There's division here, and there's addition. So order of operations says we have to do the division first. I'm going to do the signs first. So a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And then 8 divided by 4 is, 8 divided by 2 is 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Plus 5 equals 1. Okay, so I have to simplify this right here. I have a negative 4 and a positive 5. So here the signs are different. So I need to take the difference. The difference between 5 and 4 is 1. And I look at both of these numbers, 5 and 4. Which number is bigger? 5 is bigger. 5 is positive. So that means my answer is going to be positive. So I have 1 equaling 1, which is a true statement, which means that C equals negative 8 is the solution to the original equation. If you got that right, good job. Okay, on to problem 9. Okay, on problem 9, we have 9 plus, so that's problem 9, 9 plus, that's funny. Okay, 9 plus A over 6, or A divided by 6, we're trying to get A by itself, equals 8. Okay, and we are going to save this little bit right here until the very end. Okay, so we have to get rid of this 9 plus bit. So how is the 9 related to A? It's related through addition. So we have to do the inverse operation, and this is it's a positive 9, so that means we're going to subtract 9 to both sides of the equation. 9 take away 9 is 0. They cancel each other out. We're left with A over 6 equals 8 minus 9. 8 is positive, 9 is negative. Here the signs are different, so we take the difference. The difference between 9 and 8 is 1. And then we look at the two numbers. Which number is bigger, 9 or 8? 9 is bigger and 9 is negative, so that means our answer is going to be negative. So it's negative 1. Cool. Okay, we are still trying to figure out what A is. We got to get A by itself. It's not quite there yet. We have A divided by 6. So we have to do the inverse operation of division, which will be multiplication of 6 to both sides. 6 over 1. Okay, those are going to cross cancel out and all become 1. 1 times A is just A. Now A is by itself. And then we have a negative times a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. And we have 1 times 6, which is 6. So there's our answer. A equals negative 6. Now we need to check it. So I'm going to write the word check. I'm going to write the original equation. 9 plus A divided by 6 equals 8. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to substitute this negative 6 in for A. So I'm just rewriting everything else. 9 plus negative 6 divided by 6 equals 8. Okay, cool. So now on this side of the equation, I have simplification. I have some addition, and over here I have division. So order of operations says I have to do the division first. So I have negative 6 divided by 6. I'm just going to rewrite this 9 plus bit. If I do the signs, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 6 divided by 6 is just 1. Okay. So we have 9 plus a negative 1. And 9 plus a negative 1 is really just the same exact thing as 9 minus 1. Because the 1 is negative, and those just mean the same thing. So I'm just going to rewrite it like that. And 9 minus 1 is 8. So we have 8 equaling 8. So that is a true statement, which means that our answer, a equals -6, is the solution to the original equation. Okay, woohoo. All right, cool. So on to the back page. If you got that one right, you did a great job. Okay, on to the back page. Here we go.